makes it look easy,
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mr. DiCarlo?
Here.
Mr. Hoffman is excused. Mr. Condit? Here. Mr. Lane is excused. Mr. Silverton is here. Mr. Walter?
Here.
Minutes, approval minutes from March 11th. Make a motion to approve meeting minutes from March 11th.
Second.
Mr. Condit?
Yes.
Mr. Silverton, yes. Mr. Walter?
Yes.
Mr. DiCarlo?
Yes. Acceptance of financial reports. Move to accept financial reports.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Silverton, yes. Mr. Walter?
Yes.
Mr. DiCarlo?
Yes.
Mr. Condit?
Yes. Any amendments to the agenda? Okay, comments from the public, 30 minutes maximum time, 5 minutes per person, raise your hand, state your name and address. Any comments from the public? No one? Right. It's probably a good time for you if you want to talk.
Oh, okay.
So raise your hand, state your name.
John Sines, Polaris Engineering, 34600 Chardon Road, Louisville Hills, Ohio.
Okay.
Speaking on behalf of Clover Construction, we're here presenting a 95-unit senior apartment facility located on Kendall Lane. I brought with me today some color renderings of the landscape plan and also a copy of the photometric plan. We did minimize some of the lighting on the back side of the building just to minimize some of the flood pollution that would go into the, I don't think it would travel that far, but it would be somewhat of a visual nuisance maybe to the residential development behind. We did provide one pole where there is parking along the back of the building just for safety reasons, but they're standard height poles. We're not looking at anything very industrial or anything like that. They're single head, dark berry cable, your standard parking light fixture. Landscaping, I think they did a pretty good job screening both the front parking along the building from Kendall Lane. There is some elevation drop in there as well, so when you're driving down Kendall Lane, the parking lot does sit a couple feet below the road. That, in addition with some of the pine trees that are presented around there, should give ample screening and break up the sea of parking that's required for these facilities. Since the last planning commission meeting, we've taken into account all the engineers' comments. We're just wrapping up a couple loose ends with some of the storm sewer calcs and some of the stuff like that. Still waiting for some comments from soil and water, so we'll wrap all that up with Mr. Esser as the week progresses. I don't see any hurdles in those comments or really finalizing the plans by week's end. Everything seems to be moving along. Since tonight, as we touched on earlier, we were looking to have approval tonight, but if we could go to a special meeting on Thursday, I know that would help my client significantly move forward in his process with acquiring the lands, closing the loops on his end, and then proceeding with architectural plans and really finalizing the project, do that, and then really representing everything visually to the ARB that everyone's going to really care about. Siding, colors, finishes, everything like that would be presented in front of ARB and approved at that time too. So really this is the next hurdle before we can really pull the trigger on those expensive architectural plans, is the idea of that. Still hoping to pull the trigger and maybe get everything into Terry for the next ARB meeting, which I think is, correct me if I'm wrong, the 24th, or towards the end of this month, next month. So we are proceeding pretty quickly with this project. Client's very excited. I think with the rec center and everything else, it's just a very symbiotic relationship with the senior facility right there. I'd be happy to answer any questions the public may have at this time.
Sure. Do I need to state my name for a question?
Absolutely, John.
Johnny Reed, members of the Park and Rec Committee, I live in Willowbrook. With the plans that you're referring to, is there any minority requirement as far as bringing up the landscaping or any other construction work that you're?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
When will the floor plans be available?
That's, after we get approval, that's when they'll
Who
really
said
pull the
that?
trigger.
Who said it? Address, please. 10589 Florida Street.
Sample floor plans we could easily provide if you're interested. They're pretty modular buildings. From what they've developed in the past, they really just work the building envelope to fit each individual property. But unit floor plans, I could probably get you something like that, but full architectural plans, those are still weeks out.
Unit plans would be fine.
Okay.
I have some concern about the restroom, since there's only one, and the lacking of a bathtub being in there, even though you have a shower stall, and both couldn't be supplied. And the size of the stools that you're using for seniors, the chair height stool is much more comfortable than the one that you're crawling off the floor, which normally is what you use. That's what they put in a normal home. I don't know whether that's what you're putting in these or not, but the stool size or the chair size is much better for seniors. Those are two concerns I have, and I just wondered what, I heard there was to be no bathtub. And I think that, to me, does not even look like a bathroom without a bathtub. You can put shower stall and bathtub both in there, and it would be more feasible. And then if you have two people that are in a hurry, one can shower and the other one can take back.
I have one of those things like they have at the American Legion magazine where it's got the door that you just walk in. It's got the shower
They can have outdoor showers, I guess, but
Definitely gotta bite the tongue.
That's the silver hair in American Legion.
All right, any other, that's probably enough comments from the public. Anybody else have any?
I'm sorry, what was the total number of parking spaces?
123, I believe, and then I think there's an additional 38 land banked. Let me just check. 32 land banked, so 91, and then 32 land banked, so it would be a total of 123.
They have submitted studies on all that they have, how many, 10, 11 of the units?
Mhm.
And they submitted car counts on each and every one of those, and in most cases, those units were in the 60 to 70 range, so they had excess parking for visitors. But what we wanted to make sure that they had land banking up so that, obviously, with the land banking, it's almost 1.5 cars per unit, which is well in excess. They're more in the range of like 0.75 cars per unit is their average. So we could almost double that. That's why we want to see what land banking they can do. So I think we're in good shape if we need to add them.
And the concept too is that they're gonna add a bus, a small bus that's gonna go around. You have one new building in Willoughby,
Correct.
where else?
We have proposals in about 6 cities right now to start construction, but
Okay.
yeah, there's.
So they'll have a bus route that'll come through, like every Wednesday will come here, pick everybody up to go to the grocery store that wants to go. That's why a need for vehicles all the time, they'll set up regular bus routes to all the units. Even though it says 55 and over, it's really not geared towards an active 55-year-old. Because in July, I will be 55. I have no intention to move. I have more than one car. That's the only reason. If I had less than one car, I'd probably look at it.
Well, thank you for your endorsement.
That's my thinking. 56 and my wife.
All right, anything else? Table legislation, anything, table legislation?
I'd like to make a motion to remove resolution 23, 2014 from the table.
Need a second.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Carlo?
Yes.
Mr. Condit?
Yes.
Mr. Silverston, yes. Mr. Walter?
Yes.
Resolution 23, 2014, a resolution to accept the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission to approve the preliminary site plan submitted by Clover Construction Management for senior housing complex. It's a third reading.
Move to approve.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Condit?
Yes.
Mr. Silverston, yes. Mr. Walter?
Yes.
Mr. Carlo?
Yes.
Weird when you have.
I know.
Right.
It's like we're missing.
Ordinance 6, 2014, an ordinance repealing section 16.9 of Twinsburg Township zoning resolution declaring emergency. First reading, can't do this on first reading. Ordinance 7, 2014, an emergency ordinance to make appropriation adjustments for 2014 village budget. First reading. Ordinance 8, 2014, an ordinance transfer of $32,672 from the general fund to the police vehicle acquisition fund. First reading. Resolution 27, 2014, a resolution authorizing mayor into an agreement to purchase the 2014 Ford utility police interceptor statewide Ford for some not to exceed $38,200. Third reading.
Move to approve.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Silverston, yes. Mr. Walter?
Yes.
Mr. Carlo?
Yes.
Mr. Condit?
Yeah.
Resolution 29, 2014, a resolution to hire Alexander McKinley as part-time police officer with the village of Reminderville. First reading. Resolution 30, 2014, a resolution to accept the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission to approve the site plan for proposed senior housing development on Kendall Lane. That's at first reading. Any old business? Any new business?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to make a donation in the name of Herbert Hoffman, which is Walt Hoffman's brother, an amount not to exceed $100.
Second.
Go with second.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Walter?
Yes.
Mr. Carlo?
Yes.
Mr. Condit?
Yes.
Mr. Silverston, yes.
Any other new business?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Roll call. Oh, I need a second, sorry.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Carlo?
Yes.
Mr. Condit?
Yes.
Mr. Silverston, yes. Mr. Walter?
Yes.
Adjourn.
It's not gonna make a difference.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie, you better count the men.
Right.
Miss Deborah, I'm glad you're here. You're in trouble now. You're in trouble now. Little folks just giving, I'm gonna move forward up there.
Sit down that way.
But I just got.
So the question is, because we are thinking of selling and moving. But to lack of any place to store anything, we live with one bathroom. To make a catheter look like a bathroom when people walk in, most people have shower curtains, it's decorative. And just a shower stall, I think that would turn us off.
And I think I'm still secure. You want to give me the phone number?
But they're not ready yet. They're still
Someone
trying to.
contact you from I'm just from the.
Well, I was going to come to the art court.
Oh, that's perfect. We can explain all this in there too. And then you'll
Well,
see
that's
it.
why I figured it wasn't coming up in a And that's when I figured they would have some preliminary plan for the art
Right
board.
into the second floor.
But we will, for the art board.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I figured I'd switch a copy if I could.
It's something, but.
He doesn't.
Because, you know,
You could be number one.
well, I'm comparing to